Reading from Luke chapter 10, verses 38 to 42. At the home of Martha and Mary. Jesus and his disciples were on their way. He came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and asked, "Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me." "Martha, Martha," the Lord answered, "you're worried and upset by many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and I will not take that away, and it will not be taken from her." I have mixed reactions to this particular passage of the Bible. The reason my reactions are mixed is because I'm a Martha. I want my guests to feel welcome and relaxed, so when they arrive, I can be busy finishing the meal or clearing and washing plates and basically ensuring that my guest never has to lift a finger. As I identify with Martha, I'm happy that there's someone who I can relate to in the Bible. However, when the stories unfold and Martha is gently told there's one thing that's needed, I'm a bit frustrated with this story. Unlike other teaching, Jesus does not explicitly state what that one thing that's needed is. And for a while, I struggled to understand this story. Some of you may say, well, why? It's clear, it's obvious that the one thing is to listen and to be at the Lord's feet. And yes, that is important. But does this mean Martha's role is unimportant? The answer is emphatically no. Martha's role is very important. In the culture when the story took place, hospitality was expected. In fact, one of the miracles that Jesus did on 2 occasions was to ensure that the crowds of thousands gathered to him was fed. Even earlier in this chapter, Jesus sent out his disciples 2 by 2, and where they were welcome, he instructed them to eat what was offered. Therefore, hospitality was expected. By opening her home, Martha is not only opening to Jesus, but his disciple. At very least, there could be 12 others invited for a meal. Now, this would be the daunting task for anyone, even those who love to feed others. I think it's commendable that Martha volunteered to host these guests at her house and make sure that they were welcome. From Martha's complaint, and don't you just love how honest she could be with Jesus and boldly vent her frustration? Martha's annoyed that her sister is not helping. I wonder if Martha did ask Mary for support, or did she just assume that Mary would be there to help her? Sometimes we could agree to do a big project, thinking someone else is going to be assisting. If we're truthful with ourselves, did we ever ask that person first, or did we make an assumption that we could do this task with their help? This is a lesson in itself. If a job is so big and you know you need someone else's help, you need to ask that person first before you committing them to a task that they did not sign up to. And this is especially true in relationships. Just because you're a couple, do not assume that you can take someone else's time and energy and sign them up for something on their behalf. Jesus' response also reminds me of a sermon he gave. In that sermon, he constantly reminded us, do not worry. Here's a question directly from Jesus. Can any of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? I think we all know we cannot. In fact, it's proven that by worrying and stressing, we in fact shorten our lives. So why do we do it? Because it's a pattern that we need to break. Our Heavenly Father knows our needs. He knows that we need food to eat and water to drink. And Jesus reminds us that we should seek first his heavenly kingdom and his righteousness. Then these things will be added to us as well. When speaking to Martha, Jesus told her that it's okay for women who were not seen as equal in this time of this story to come, to sit, to listen, and to learn. The knowledge that he taught from his teaching will stay with Mary much longer than any meal Martha was preparing. However, what is important to note that Jesus did not belittle the role of Martha. He also recognized that her work is important. And sometimes in our relationships, we have to allow that another person the time to have that fellowship and experiencing, metaphorically sitting at Jesus' feet. By this, we need to take up the task that they would normally do so that they have time to listen. And this is love in action. So when you Marthas out there are doing your various tasks, do not begrudge the person listening. That's important for them to do. And one day, you will have your day where you will be able to sit and listen because someone else will do that task that's needed.